The Boston Red Sox actually spent money? What? Alex Bregman is officially a member of the Boston Red Sox, and I could not be more excited.
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Gabby Maljanian, former ESPN social media associate and current host of the Boston Balling podcast as well. And I am here to bring you the latest in all things Boston Red Sox, Monday through Friday, straight to your favorite podcast feed. And the best part, it's completely free. So you might as well tune in because Locked On is your team every single day. And while I have you here, the Boston Red Sox actually spent money. How long have we been waiting to be able to say that? John Henry just looked at Red Sox fans and said, I told you so. I can spend money on players that I think are worth it. And to the Red Sox, Alex Bregman was worth it. Now, the Red Sox did settle on a 3-year, $120 million deal for the free agent third baseman, the undoubted best remaining free agent that was available on the market. Now, he will be getting $40 million per year. So that average per year that he is getting is higher than what other teams were offering him. It's about $10 million plus more per year. So that's what he prioritized. Was obviously he wanted to make more per year, and that's what got him to Boston. He did turn down a 6-year deal for over $170 million to sign with the Red Sox. And again, like I said on the podcast a while back, I think it was about a month ago or so, I said, I bet Bregman's market is being held up because he wants to play in Boston and the Red Sox haven't yet offered anything close to what he wants. And my guess would be during the negotiation process, the Red Sox said, okay, we'll bump up your annual salary of what you're making each year for a shorter term deal for you to come to Boston. So it's totally a team friendly deal from the standpoint of how many years are on this contract. 3 years, and there's also an opt-out after each year. Bregman definitely would not opt out for that kind of money, but it allows the Red Sox to be able to be flexible when it comes to their roster and their prospects. It's already been reported that Bregman is expected to play second base for the Red Sox, so Rafael Devers will stay at third. So all the speculation of Devers moving positions obviously is not happening. He will stay at third base with Trevor Story at shortstop. So you put in Alex Bregman at second, and then Casas will be at first base. So then that takes a lot of pressure off of a guy like Kristian Campbell to feel like he has to come up now and be ready to go and ready to step up now. That allows the Red Sox to continue to let him develop in AAA before he gets called up and give him some more time, because the last thing that you want to do is rush these prospects. You want to make sure you're doing it the right way with your top prospects like Roman Anthony, Kristian Campbell, and Marcelo Meyer, and you make sure that they're getting the right amount of development in the minors before they come up and contribute to the major league team. So when it comes to Campbell, he likely will start the season in AAA. And then it poses a question about Vaughn Grissom. Is there really a spot on the team for him at this point? It'll be interesting to see how the Red Sox navigate that situation, because when they brought him in and they traded Chris Sale to get Grissom, the intention was for him to be the everyday second baseman. Now you have to wonder, because Alex Bregman will obviously start at second base, what does that mean for Grissom? Because of the fact that Campbell is coming up and will follow Bregman at second, you have to wonder if they will try to potentially move him in a trade, because there really isn't a spot on the roster for him at this point. I also am wondering, what's going to happen with Yoshida. Obviously, he'll still stay as the primary DH for the Red Sox because of the fact that Devers is staying at third. So the possibility of trading him seems like it's no longer a possibility unless they were to trade him for pitching or something, which would kind of be a long shot because he had struggled last year. So there are a lot of moving parts to this that still need to be figured out in terms of the infield. But if I'm Vaughn Grissom and I'm at Red Sox camp right now, I'm wondering what is going to happen with me. What is my future in a Boston Red Sox uniform going to look like? Now, with Alex Bregman, because you're only committing to a maximum of 3 years for him right now, by the time that 3 years is up, you hope that Campbell is ready to be the everyday second baseman, because that should give him plenty of time to continue his development process, so that in that time frame, when Bregman's contract is up in Boston, Campbell's well on his way to being a star second baseman for the Red Sox. Now, you then look at the fact that he can also play in the outfield. And if the Red Sox feel like he's ready to get called up before second base opens up, then you might start to think, okay, he could get some reps in the outfield, which 100% could be true, but then they still have to figure out their outfield situation, because then what do they do with a guy like Willie or Abreu? Do they try to trade him because Campbell's going to come up and they really want to get him in, so then they have him play in the outfield and they trade Abreu? You have to wonder how that situation is all going to work out. I'm sure that's something the Red Sox have already had discussions about, but Alex Bregman is here. It feels crazy to say, and he's a big boost to this Red Sox team because he brings good defense to the infield. And Alex Cora said one of the biggest things that the Red Sox needed to improve on in 2025 was the infield defense. Bregman provides a strong glove in the infield to contribute to this Red Sox team. Also, he's a veteran leader who knows how to win. He could go into that Red Sox clubhouse and say, I want to win here. And I keep referring back to Justin Turner. He was a guy who came to Boston and was huge in the locker room as being a good mentor and leader to some of the younger players. And I've preached on this podcast for so long, the Red Sox need a veteran presence in that clubhouse. They need somebody to add to their lineup who's going to be a veteran who knows how to win and can help work with the younger guys on this roster, because the Red Sox have a young roster right now. So that guy is Bregman, who has experience winning the World Series and is now in Boston and ready to help a young team and help boost them so that they can win. Also, he's very familiar with Alex Cora from their time in Houston together. And by the Red Sox bringing in Bregman, it shows that they really do value what Cora's wishes are, because Cora kept emphasizing for so long that he really wanted Bregman. He even said it as recently as the other day that he wants Bregman badly. And there was some controversy in the front office because they were split on Bregman. Some people in the front office wanted him and others did not. Alex Cora made it very, very clear that he did, and that he was a big Bregman guy. So to me, this shows that they value Alex Cora's wishes and what he wants for this Red Sox team. And that's massive from a front office standpoint. But overall, I love this move. His numbers also at Fenway are also very, very good. He has a huge track record of success in Boston. His stat line overall at Fenway Park in his career is a batting average of 375, a 490 on base percentage, and a 750 slugging. I mean, this guy crushes baseballs at Fenway Park, and he's a very big pull hitter, which will work in his favor because of the left field green monster wall that is 7 feet 2 inches high. So for his hitting style, that is really favorable. And his numbers at Fenway were similar to what David Ortiz's were. I mean, we're talking serious numbers here. And even if you just think about it, if you think about his time with the Houston Astros, he always came into Boston and mashed. And he was one of the biggest Red Sox killers at Fenway Park in his career. So that's incredibly promising for what he can provide on the offensive side of the ball. He's also a right-handed bat, so it provides versatility, because since the Red Sox lost Tyler O'Neill, they really needed to replace his productivity in the lineup. And Alex Bregman might not be the guy who goes and crushes 40 home runs for you, but he can hit a decent amount of home runs, but he can also drive in runs at a consistent basis, and he's a smart hitter because he's a veteran. And you look at somebody like Cedar Rafaela, who still has a ways to go in terms of his development at the plate. He can try to model his game after a guy like Bregman when it comes to being patient at the plate and actually taking strikes and taking balls and just being patient and finding your pitch, whereas Rafael is super swing happy and it tends to backfire on him sometimes. So that's another benefit to Alex Bregman being here. There are so many reasons why I love this for the Red Sox, and it really sends a message to the fans that the front office is back in it, because for the last few years, we truly felt like John Henry and company lost interest in the Boston Red Sox, did not care about improving them, and they were so focused on the other teams. They were so focused on either other sports teams that they had purchased or even the lower levels of the farm system and trying to grow that, which again, there's nothing wrong. You want to have good prospects in your system, so there's nothing wrong with wanting to improve that, but they weren't finding that balance of improving their farm system and the major league roster. And now they've said, look, we are tired of finishing at either mediocre or worse than that pace. We want to finish hopefully first in our division. And this is a big statement move by Fenway Sports Group. This is a big statement move for ownership that, look, we're willing to spend money on the right players, and it gets the fans back invested. Alex Bregman is a big named player, an exciting player, a move that the Red Sox needed to make in order to make a statement to the fans and show that they are invested in this Boston Red Sox team. And on paper, if this Red Sox team can stay healthy now, I truly believe they can win their division. If you take Bregman out of the equation, I would have said, look, they probably can be a wild card team, but they are still missing a couple key pieces here to the puzzle to make them a true contender. They are a true contender now. That is what Bregman brings to the table. He is a guy who can go out there and produce. Have his numbers offensively declined in the last couple seasons? Yes, but he still has productive seasons at the plate, and he can still put together some really impressive at-bats. And if you incorporate what he's been able to do at Fenway Park, you really can't be upset about this move as a Red Sox fan. And it also will attract more free agents. Now that Alex Bregman showed that he wanted to come to Boston and he turned down more years to go elsewhere and come play in Boston instead, it really shows that he wanted Boston. And if I'm a free agent who's going on the market next year, I'm looking at that and saying, look, I want to come to Boston too. Take example, Vlad Guerrero Jr., who's going to be a free agent next year, and the Blue Jays, who haven't had a lot of luck with players this offseason in general, might not have a lot of luck extending him. And if they don't extend him and he goes to free agency, the Red Sox could be a target for him, because he could look at them and say, wow, the Red Sox obviously do want to spend money when it matters and on players who they feel are worth it. So if they feel like I'm worth it, they'll give me that nice payday. So there are so many reasons why this is such a good move for the Red Sox, but it can be capped off with saying it fills a huge need in that last hole in the lineup to really help us feel like the Red Sox lineup is now complete. So I'm really excited about this move. I just think Bregman provides so many positive aspects that he can bring to Fenway Park and the Boston Red Sox, and his attitude should help fuel the Red Sox to a lot of success. And coming up, I'm going to be talking about what the Red Sox lineup could look like now that you add Bregman into it. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Personally, I love the no shells variety. It's the perfect grab and go snack for busy days. Whether I'm snacking at my desk, on a road trip, or just need a quick protein boost, they're always my go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are a classic favorite. Get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. My mom is addicted to these things because she's a huge pistachio fan, and you'll be addicted too. Don't say I didn't warn you. You know what I'm addicted to? Alex Bregman signing with the Boston Red Sox. I mean, how exciting is that? I was sitting here feeling like the Red Sox might have been done making moves and feeling like they were confident enough in the squad that they had rolling out there on opening day. But Alex Bregman just provides this boost that you really feel like the Red Sox needed. And it just will help create really high, strong clubhouse vibes going into this season. I already knew the players were excited. I already knew there was optimism surrounding this team, especially the pitching staff, because think about it. The Red Sox have added Garrett Crochet, Walker Buehler, and Alex Bregman. 3 all-stars that they added to the team this offseason. Guys who can go out there and make the team better. And not only that, but Garrett Crochet will hopefully be their ace of the future as long as they extend him, which is something they will likely do during the season, hopefully. But that's a lot of solid additions. I mean, the Red Sox really did go out there and improve this team. Nobody can deny that the Red Sox are a better team in 2025 than they were in 2024. And to me, I am very confident that as long as they are healthy, they will be a playoff team. And that's very exciting to think about as a Red Sox fan, because that just hasn't happened the last few years. And we just have not been able to have that conversation. And now that Alex Bregman is here, how does he slot into the lineup for the Red Sox? This is what the potential lineup could look like on opening day. Jarren Duran batting first, as usual. He's a great leadoff hitter, did a lot in that role last year, playing in left field to start the season because they've already said Cedar Rafaela will likely spend a lot of time in center. Then Rafael Devers batting second and playing third base. Let's hope that he can cut down on the errors this upcoming season, because I will say that was something that raised a lot of concern, was his ability to play third base effectively because his defense wasn't really all there. So I'm hoping that he is able to go out there and cut down on the errors a little bit and show improvement, which he definitely has done for sure. He definitely has improved defensively in the last couple seasons, but I'm hoping that continues to go in that direction. But then you could slot Bregman in the 3-hole and playing second base, batting right behind Devers. Because imagine Duran gets a hit and gets on base and he's Mr. Speedy, so we can get into scoring position right away if he hits or makes contact with any sort of baseball, most likely. Then you have your 2 power hitters after him in Devers and Bregman. I mean, that's a really solid 1-2-3. Then presumably Tristan Casas playing first base and batting after Bregman. He is ready to have a big season because he obviously missed most of the season last year with an injury, and he wants to go out there this upcoming year and he wants to show people that he is ready to go off. And I could not be more excited about him and what he could bring to the table in 2025, because I just think there's so much potential with Casas, and I feel like we could see some very, very good things from him this upcoming year. Then you have Trevor Story, who presumably could bat 5th at shortstop. And the thing with Story is his health. I mean, it's just been frustrating, the fact that he has not been able to stay healthy throughout the course of his time in Boston. I'm not holding my breath, unfortunately, on him being able to stay healthy now either, but it gives you some hope that he has been able to have a full off season this time for the first time with Boston. So that gives you some hope that maybe he can go into the season and be more prepared than ever. His defense, we know, helps the Red Sox. Defensively, Trevor Story is one of the best players on this Red Sox team. There is no denying that. He's always been known for his defense, and his glove is something that will provide a lot of value for the Red Sox. It's his performances at the plate that are a bit of a question, because he has not been able to produce effectively on offense, especially to the level that the Red Sox need him to. So I am a little bit concerned about that, but hopefully they can get him going a little bit more this upcoming season. Then Yoshida most likely batting 6th as the DH. I mean, Yoshida just needs to be more consistent. I wanted the Red Sox to try to explore a trade for him, but it's tough because he's limited in his capabilities of what he can do. He cannot play defense well, and he's a hitter who is pretty average, slightly above in a lot of metrics, and he's inconsistent. So there's not a whole lot of crazy value that he provides that a team would be running to acquire him for. So I had a feeling the Red Sox might not be able to find a trade partner for him. So he is most likely the everyday DH. That just is what it is. We kind of have to deal with it. At least he's batting in the lower part of the lineup. Then Wilyer Abreu in right field, who showed a ton of potential in his rookie year, won a Gold Glove, and also performed really well at the plate and was one of the biggest pieces of the Red Sox offense. And I'm very excited about Abreu. I know I said that he's somebody who should get traded this past offseason, which would have made sense if Roman Anthony was ready for opening day, but I'm not feeling like he will be. I still feel like when Anthony does get called up eventually, then they are going to have to do something with Abreu, because what happens if Campbell is also ready at that time? Then there's a lot of reshuffling that they're doing. So Wilyer Abreu, I don't know that we even see him in a Red Sox uniform for the full season, but for while he is here, he will produce. We saw so much from him last year that I really liked, so I'm excited for him in that 7-hole. Then Connor Wong, the 8-hitter, the catcher, definitely needs to continue to improve defensively, but offensively, he had a decent season in 2024. I mean, not eye-popping numbers, which he was giving us a little bit in the first half, but then he kind of came back to reality a little bit in the second half of the season, and his numbers did dip a little bit. But overall, he is somebody who can do the job. He's a serviceable catcher. I still am a little bit concerned about what the catching situation is going to be moving forward, but he is somebody who can get the job done. And as the 8-hitter, you don't need him to be miraculous. You just need him to try to be able to drive in runners who are on base ahead of him. And hopefully he can do that at least a good portion of the time. Then you have Cedar Rafaela batting in the 9-hole and playing center field. Obviously, a tremendous defender. That is his best asset of his game. The Red Sox extended him primarily for that reason because of his defense. And the Red Sox want to maximize his defensive talent, which is why they want him to play center field. So that's something that I really like about his game. He's also athletic and fast. Just like Jarren Duran, he provides speed to the Red Sox lineup, which is huge for a team that doesn't have a ton of guys who can do that consistently. But Devers is not the guy who can go out there and steal bases and turn singles into doubles. It's true. He's just not. And, Alex Bregman not going to do that either. But if you have Rafaela and Duran who are able to do that, then that's really good for a lineup that needs that versatility. So that's essentially, to me, what I presume that the opening day lineup could look like now that you slot Bregman in there. Now, when you look at this lineup, that's really good. I am a little bit concerned about the consistency from 6 through 9, minus the exception of Wilyer Abreu, who I think could have another great season. But you look at that 6, 8, and 9 hitters, those guys I definitely feel like need to step it up more. But you look at the rest of that lineup ahead of them, that's a stacked lineup. Again, obviously, Trevor Story needs to stay healthy, but generally, even just looking at 1 through 4, those guys are going to score runs. This Red Sox lineup going into 2025 is going to perform well. They need to cut down on the strikeouts. I'm hoping that's something that they've worked on during the offseason and that they work through this spring, but they are going to go out there and they are going to score runs. And you couple that with a really strong starting rotation, that is super exciting. And what's really exciting about the Red Sox is they can contend now with the roster they have. And Roman Anthony, Kristian Campbell, and Marcelo Meyer have not even stepped foot on the field at Fenway Park yet in a Boston Red Sox uniform. Those guys are still hanging out in the minors and waiting for their opportunity to come up and play in Boston. And that makes this all even more exciting because as a Red Sox fan, I am so excited for the future of the team. But this just also made me excited about the right now. Getting a roster together that we feel can go out there and win games and perform at a really high level. You definitely have the roster and the pieces to do it. Adding Alex Bregman into the lineup just enhances it and makes it look a lot stronger than it would have been without him. And you think about the Nolan Arenado situation, if the Red Sox were going to trade for him, Alex Bregman is the better option because he's younger and they know he can also bring the defense that Arenado would have provided. Arenado was declining over the last couple seasons offensively. So I do feel like even though Bregman saw a slight decline in his numbers, it wasn't as bad as what Arenado was experiencing. And I just feel like overall Bregman's the better choice. So I'm very happy about this move and I'm excited about the Red Sox lineup and the talent that exists on this team because I think this Red Sox team could be one of the best teams in the American League in 2025. And coming up, what is still left for the Red Sox? Are there any holes in the roster that remain? That's coming up next. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on it than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay. I love using FanDuel's live betting feature because it keeps every moment of the game exciting. Whether I'm backing my team for a late game rally or picking a player to hit a clutch three, I never feel like I missed my chance. Plus, the app is easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit fanduel.com to join today. That's fanduel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. I love FanDuel. It's a really good opportunity to win lots of money. I've experienced my husband win lots of money firsthand on this app. So if you download it today, I promise you it could change your life completely. The Boston Red Sox roster heading into 2025 is so exciting. I'm like smiling and grinning ear to ear just thinking about it. And by the way, I do have my lucky Red Sox pants on right now, so I am totally okay with wearing them every single game this season because they are obviously good luck. I completely manifested this Alex Bregman move, and I could not be more excited. He just brings a big boost to the lineup that the Red Sox needed, and I just cannot wait to see how this team performs because I have a feeling we are going to see lots of winning at Fenway Park, at least a lot more than what we've been used to seeing the last few years. And that's super exciting. Imagine when opening day hits at Fenway Park and Red Sox fans are there and Alex Bregman comes in to his walk-up song. I mean, it's just going to hit so hard and I cannot wait. And now that the Red Sox did sign him, are there any more moves that need to be made? Is this a complete roster? There are two areas of concern that I still have with this Red Sox team. One I addressed earlier, which is the catching situation. Connor Wong is a serviceable catcher. He will be able to get the job done. He is a guy who the Red Sox can rely on a day-to-day basis to at least go out there and hit at a relatively consistent basis. Yes, he's not the best hitter on the team, nor does he need to be, but he is a guy who can go out there and play. And yes, he needs to improve defensively, but he is the number one catcher. Who's going to be the backup catcher? It's going to be one of the guys that they invited to spring training. Those guys are going to have to prove themselves, and based on who performs the best in spring is most likely going to be the one that gets the call up to the majors to be the backup catcher to Connor Wong. I am a little bit concerned about the situation because the catching situation for the long term right now isn't looking very bright. Obviously, that's something they can address down the road. But it is just something to consider when you're thinking about this Red Sox team and what 2025 and beyond could look like for them is who's going to come in as that backup catcher behind Connor Wong. And is that a catcher who's capable of being around for the long term, or are they going to have to address the catching situation again beyond 2025? So their catching tandem might not be the best in baseball, but it's okay because if that's like their weakest link, I'm not very concerned about the rest of the roster. The other thing that I've talked about a little bit on here that we should consider is who's going to close games because they don't have a defined closer. I was hoping they would go out and get a defined closer this offseason. That did not happen. I think their plan is to use somebody they already have internally, either Liam Hendriks, Aroldis Chapman, maybe Justin Slayton, maybe Garrett Whitlock, guys like that who are either proven closers or have proven themselves in the Red Sox organization to be really reliable. And Garrett Whitlock just needs to stay healthy. That is the biggest thing for me. If he stays healthy, he's definitely capable of being a closer because he's shown that he can pitch in high leverage. Also, Justin Slayton, I really like. He was arguably the Red Sox most consistent reliever in 2024. He's a guy I definitely want to see more of out there and somebody who I would trust on the mound in the ninth inning. Then you have Aroldis Chapman, who has closed a lot of games in his career, but has also been used as a setup guy the last couple years. So he's somebody who I see playing more of that setup type of role going into this upcoming season. And Liam Hendriks, who used to be a great closer, but has just been around the game for a long time. So that definitely helps that too. But he's also been away from the game for a while now because of his cancer and having to battle back from that and then pitching again and then getting injured and not being able to pitch all of last season. So there are a little bit of concerns with that just because of the fact that we don't really know what version of him we're going to get right away because of the fact that he's coming back from injury. But I do think he can provide a lot for this Red Sox team. I just don't necessarily think it would be fair to expect him to close games early on. So they need to figure out that situation, who is going to close games. So those are the two areas that I feel like we could still focus on as maybe weaker parts of the Red Sox roster. But overall, where the roster is at now, adding Alex Bregman makes the lineup feel complete. The Red Sox have a team now that I am excited to go into opening day with. And I was excited before because of the pitching, but now I'm even more excited because the lineup also has that same ability that the pitching has to be very, very good. So I think we're looking at a team that definitely, if healthy, has a really good shot to win the AL East and maybe even battle for a World Series spot. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Buckle up, Red Sox fans. We are in for a really special season, I have a feeling, in Boston. I think vibes will be really high in this clubhouse. These guys are ready to go, and they want to win. And having these veterans in there, like Walker Buehler and Alex Bregman, I think can make a world of a difference for a lot of the younger guys on this roster who are still experiencing what it's like to play in high-pressure games and trying to get themselves into that postseason party. So get ready. I am so excited to be along for the ride with you. Go Red Sox. Go Alex Bregman. Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Red Sox and making it your first listen today. For your second listen, be sure to check out Locked On MLB with host Paul Sullivan, aka Sully. He will keep you up to date on all things going on around the league. So if you want to stay caught up in what's going on with all of the teams around baseball, check out his show on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts right after this. Go Red Sox. Keep the faith, and I will catch you on the flip side.